Welcome once again to Public Affairs, and we are with Consul General Leo HERRERA-LIM. We'd like to talk now about the services that the Consulate General Office offers. And as you mentioned in our previous interviews, that you had expanded the services. What are the services that are available to the Filipino nationals?
Well, predominantly, many of our clientele would go to the consulate to apply for passports. I would say that would be like 60 to 70% of our daily load, simply because Southern California is the home to, I would say, around 25% of the Filipino population in the whole U.S. So a lot of passport applicants. So number two, we do authentication of documents, or what some of our kababayans would loosely label as red ribbon. We ribbon the documents and make the documents acceptable in the Philippines by government or private institutions. Most of them would be either like buying real estate in the Philippines, or asking for an agent to represent them in securing bank loans, or getting their pensions from Social Security. We do those stuff. And then a third part would be issuance of visas to non-Filipinos wanting to travel to the Philippines. But we also have certain delegated responsibilities. Like this year, we've increased the application for dual citizens. We do this program on behalf of the Philippine Bureau of Immigration. And at the same time, we also, during this year, activated the voter registration. We do this on behalf of the Philippine Commission on Elections. So these are pretty much the services we do for our clientele. But on top of this, we do an active economic diplomacy, meaning promoting Philippine goods, Philippine travel, and then we also promote certain Philippine issues across the U.S.
Mm-hmm. In other words, Consul General, if they were to send some documents with regards to their properties in the Philippines, it is necessary that they go to the Consulate General Office for legalization.
Absolutely. This is so that their documents would be treated as what we call, what lawyers would call public documents in the Philippines. We just pretty much provide assurance that it's their free act, or they were not coerced to signing documents. And then that number two, we verify their identity. So that's the value added given by the consulate in these transactions.
And you also do civil registration, like when there is a report of birth, marriage, and death?
Yes, you seem to be working for us. You're so familiar.
I love the Consulate General Office.
You're so familiar with that. That's part of the delegated responsibility to us by the Philippine Statistics Office. We have an office in the Philippines that registers all births and deaths. They've delegated that authority for us here in the U.S. So you're right. For any Filipino born of Filipino parents, we have to register their birth, and that gives them the recognition, automatic recognition of Philippine. And many of them would simultaneously apply for a passport once they registered it.
Yes. Since I do a lot of community service programs, Consul General, I do receive a lot of questions, and these questions are the ones that I sometimes direct to the Consulate General Office. And one of these would be the shipment of remains to the Philippines. And could you give the basic steps that they would have to take to be able to facilitate this?
Well, basically, the shipment of remains, I think it follows pretty much the tradition of Filipinos wanting to be buried in the land where they were born. But I think in the past, this fell into also methodology for some bad elements of society to use it as a vehicle to ship drugs or contraband items. So government has put in a relatively simple system to enable us to ensure that there is accountability in the shipment of remains, either both the physical remains or the cremated remains. It contains the remains. So we we ask the physician, first the physician in terms of certifying the cause of death, and then we ask for a mortuary certificate, then we ask for the flight details of the remains, or whether if it's an urn, who will accompany the urn in terms of the moving into the Philippines, so that from point to point we ascertain the accountability, and then we issue a document attesting to that whole process, that the process has been observed, and that the item being shipped contains only the remains of the person who died, and that document is presented before an airport official once the remains arrive in the Philippines. So it's pretty much just documenting the fact that the person died and the cause of death, because that incident is also reported in the Philippine Statistics Office. At the same time, it facilitates the entry of the remains into the country.
Thank you so much for joining us today, Consul General Leo Herrera-Lim on Public Affairs.
Thank you, AWEE.
Thank you. Stick around for more on Public Affairs.